Hey, so welcome back. So last week I didn't put out a video. Parts hadn't come in. It's been over a month, I think, couple of months now since I've ordered like the exhaust and so on. So yeah, just didn't put out a video. So I'm going to try and put something together over this week. Just do it after work. I got most of the parts. So what I'm planning to do is build my own back window. So what we've got here is 1/4 inch aluminum, 2 foot by 5 foot, I believe. That cost me about 120 bucks Canadian. And then this window is from a GMC 60 to 66. I think it's like a hot rod window. They generally use it for. It's a small rear window. I think they class it as. Costs about 30 bucks US. Shipping on top of that. If you're in the US, of course, you're going to get it free, set free. It's only, I think, just over slightly. I think it's like 3.5 inches by about 10 inches here. So it makes a nice little fit into the back of the Wildcat. So I think today I'm just going to try and cut out the aluminum sheeting, get that into a rough shape for tonight, and yeah, and then we'll just work on it through the week here. Let's see if I can get it somewhere close to finish. And that's yeah, start marking it out and get into it. So I've gone and marked it out. I've marked the bottom first. I measured sort of a rough distance from just inside the roll cage down to the bottom, just leaving a bit of extra meat on there so I can grind it off, bring it down to size where I want it. And all we've done here is gone around and cutting the actual shape to sit around this to start with. We'll cut that out, get that seated on here, because it pretty much sits up on the high part up on here. So I'll get that cut out first, and then we'll start trying to fit it in there and start refining it. So yeah, start cutting. So I've marked out where the roll cage is, and all we've done by that is working out about where center is. Same on the Wildcat, and then just measuring up from bottom to where the roll cage turns, and then the minimum width at the top here, again just centered and marked outside. I'll just show you. So I just measured about a foot to around about center of this turn in the roll cage, and then just the width across the top as close as you can get it. Again, if you just leave it a little bit on, at least you can grind it off, tidy it up. So yeah, we're getting to cut that. Like even after that, I'll still have to cut around these and that, bit of refining. But again, we'll get it roughed in hopefully tonight, and yeah, clean her up later. So I blew up my grinder for the night. So that's it for the night. I'll go grab another one tomorrow and we'll carry on. So we got a pretty good roughed in. Just got a little bit of trimming to do. I just don't want it to rub on the plastics here too much. We're gonna just take a little bit more, about 1/8 off the edges here, just trim her up, but it sits in there pretty good. And once it's clamped, it's just got to sit forward there, just trim this corner a little bit, but not too bad. Same here, just trim around. Then we'll just secure it with straps. I think just one up here, one here, 2 on each side, just in the middles. No, but pretty easy so far. So we'll tidy that up and yeah, get it fitted a little better, and then we'll move on to the window. Okay, back at her. We're going to cut out the hole for the window now. So the window seal arrived yesterday. So I've just centered the window, found the center of the window, center of our frame, and sort of just measured up where you want it to be. I've taken it 2 inches from the bottom, 2.5 from the top, down to the edge, and then we've worked out this outer measurement by the width of this, or where it sits, and just sort of laid down its side and worked out where I need to sort of cut out to, what sort of room I have to this rubber into. And then I've just gone around and held the ruler and drew it around the side to get a pretty good idea of where it is. So I'm going to use the cutting disc on the grinder for this guy, and then we'll use a jigsaw with a middle blade to cut around these corners, and then we'll start seeing if it'll fit in there and see what sort of adjustments we have to make. Okay, we've cut the hole out. You can see our gap there. See if it works. We'll cut our rubber gasket. I'll cut it around, cut it to length, and then we'll see if we can get this to fit in. See how she fits. So now we've got to fit in. We're just going to go around and push this locking strip in. Just going along and pushing it in. See how we go in these corners. And that, hard getting that gasket in, but it does go in just with a bit of work. And that, you got to make sure you get into the corners. Just be patient, take your time, get it in there. So just a quick look at the corners. So when you actually install the gasket, it looks like they're not going to sit down, settle down. They're quite crimped up. But as you go along and push the beading in, it actually settles down quite nicely. Fits in there quite snug. So yeah, don't be too concerned that this is bulged up. It will settle down when you push it in. Say, just when you put the main one in, just make sure it's pushed up against your frame. And it's nice and snug against that. So yeah, carry on. So we got it all in, which looks real pretty. And when you do it, make sure you use something like plastic and not metal, otherwise you're going to probably break your glass. And that, but not bad for about 4 hours of work after work. And that, cutting grinder, jigsaw cutter, metal blade. I'll fit it up under there and just see how she looks. We'll replace the glass, how it all fits in. At the end, I'll put down in the description where all these parts came from, if by chance you wish to do one yourself. Yeah, and I'll just write up the dimensions here too. I'll show you those. I've still got a couple of parts to come. I've got a piece of trim coming to go around here. We do have to grind some of this back, and then we've got the clamps to come as well. So we'll finish that off later. I think it's just how it's going to be, where maybe I go down to like every 2 weeks putting out a episode of what's going on with the Wildcat. Just as the parts come in, they are slowing down. So yeah. Anyway, we'll track this in and see what it looks like. So I've gone around and cleaned her all up. I think we've got enough gap here. I'm going to put a trim around all this edging. Just made this a little higher here so we can still access the rad here. Kind of snug, but works. So you don't have to pull that off all the time. Yeah, it's pretty good. She's in there pretty snug. Should be up against the harness bar here, so give it a bit more stability. So yeah, I think in the next video I'll do a bit of cleanup. We'll paint this, I'll put the trim around, I'll get that fitted in, put the straps on it to secure it, and then we might have a look at the idling situation I had in the very first episode there. See if we can fix that while we wait for parts to come. You have a long wait that it is, but no. Like if you like this, subscribe if you want to see some more notifications, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.